We be live. Shalom, shalom, everyone. Have you liked the stream? Please like the stream because I need more people to see what we're about to do here. Thank you for being here. I see the live chat is full. Okay, FLP 34, welcome back. I see Flying Robot Duck. I see Born Only Once. Good, great to see you guys. Guys, please make sure you like the stream. It's very important that a lot more people see the way we analyze these things, because I think this channel is trying to make sure that we have a good balance here of being objective, of defending Israel and supporting Zionism, but also not go full on dogmatic and just say things for the sake of being on that team, right? So again, I feel like every time I look at how people respond to events like this, people who are anti-Israel, of course, they're going to say nonsensical, most of them say idiotic things, and they just go on full claiming that Israel is, the IDF is full on genocide mode, and they says that is bullshit. But unfortunately, people on our side, people on the pro-Israel side, also sometimes become very tribal, and they just want to defend everything without actually like looking into it or thinking twice about it, right? So we need to see, like, let's do this together. And again, not being tribal is not a good way to grow a channel. The best way to grow a channel is to just go full on zealots, like dogmatic, anti everything the other side says. That's the best way to grow a channel. So because we don't do that here, our channel doesn't grow as much. So I need you guys to like the stream if you think there's value in this. Also, this stream today probably is going to lose us some fans, because I might have some criticism against some IDF soldiers, or maybe the chain of command. I don't know. We'll see together. I'll share you my thoughts. And usually when I do streams like this, we lose subscribers, we lose members, we lose financial support. So I need you guys to like the stream so that we could maybe undo a little bit of that. Okay, let me just give you a quick video of what the allegations are, and then we go over it. Hi guys, thank you for, oh, Sarah is here, Jack is here, thank you guys for being here. I see Hammers is here, fantastic. All the people we know, Amika is here. All right, good. Let me just give you a short summary of what people are saying, and then how we will respond to it. It will show you a short clip of what happened, but I will show you the full clip, because I think it's important that we see the full clip, not just a portion of it. So let's listen to her.
An attack 2 weeks ago on 15 rescue workers in Gaza by Israeli soldiers provoked international outrage. Now mobile phone footage has emerged that has forced Israel to change its account of the circumstances under which its soldiers opened fire. The rescue workers were traveling in a convoy, which Israel's military had said approached suspiciously and without lights. But the footage shows the convoy did have headlights on and emergency lights flashing. Tonight, Israel has admitted the soldiers were mistaken about the lights and the threat they were under. You may find footage of the video in Dan Johnson's.
So it's hard to be mistaken about that. You know, it's easier to believe that some people lied about this, right? Like, it's hard to assume that like there's mistaken, like the idea of saying, oh, they made a mistake. Did they make a mistake or did they lie? Because when you're shooting at ambulances that have their lights on, and then you come put in your report that they didn't have their light on, and everybody who's killed is taken and put in a mass grave without any like releasing of any pictures or anything, and then just that goes, you know, the reason now we have this footage is that some people put up that, like, dug up that grave of all the people that were killed in this incident, and then one of them had a phone with him who was recording the entire thing. And without this recording, we wouldn't have known what has happened here, right? And it's so let's watch this.
Lights.
By the way, the person that recorded all of this, he was one of the people who's dead, who was inside that mass burial ground.
And the threat they were under. You may find.
No, like, okay, so we're hearing this, but emergency workers are always Hamas, Armin. That's what I'm going to address today. Always Hamas. So I am always say on this channel that Hamas uses emergency workers as a cover They use ambulances as a cover. I know that that has been proven, and I will show video to show that. As to defend Israel, I will show you videos, apparent videos. I haven't even looked at it, but I will look at it. We'll look at together and decide together. I mean, there are many evidence. There are a lot of evidence that shows Hamas uses ambulances. But just because they use ambulance, and they're fucking monsters, they're evil. Okay, we know that. Okay, but just because Hamas uses ambulances, that doesn't mean every fucking ambulance is has Hamas in it. Maybe this one had. We will analyze that, but we cannot just be like, oh, Hamas uses ambulances as a cover, therefore every fucking ambulance is a target. Like, who doesn't agree with you, Per? Israel doesn't agree with you, because if Israel agreed with you, then they will be shooting at every single ambulance, and they don't. You cannot say every single healthcare worker or every single emergency responder, every single one of them. Like, it needs to be verified individually. And I know some of them are, and I know Hamas is that evil to use ambulances as a cover, but you cannot just come out and say that they're all fucking Hamas. Okay, but let's. I mean, that's not Israel's position. That's not IDF's position. I mean, if it was IDF's position, they wouldn't come out and say, "Oh, like, yeah, oopsie, we made a mistake." They would be like, "Good on us." But Sketch is saying, "I'm a U.S. infantry. Sometimes the mistakes are made." Yes, okay, this is a better take. Sometimes mistakes are made. They're made on purpose by misguided. Oh, they're made on purpose by misguided individuals covering their behinds. This shouldn't color also exactly. Okay, this is a good response. This shouldn't color all soldiers. This shouldn't be hidden either. This is a fantastic way of looking at this. I will get back to this way of. So the way I want to look at this is like, we cannot defend every soldier of IDF. There are some soldiers who make mistakes, and there are some soldiers who is beyond mistakes. They're doing evil things. Okay, the difference is that Hamas, the evilness of Hamas is from the top down, ordered from the top down is the stated official policy of Hamas and the policy in effect. But when it comes to Israel, it's not systemic. It's not ordered from the top down. It's just individual soldiers that either sometimes make mistakes, or individual bad soldiers. So if you want to defend Israel, you should condemn it or acknowledge that mistake, but also remind people that this is not the entirety of the thing, instead of trying to excuse every fucking thing. It's impossible for IDF to have a army with 100% clean record. That is an impossible ask. So if you claim that they make no mistakes, or if you claim that there's not a single bad soldier in IDF, then you're not a good defender of Israel, because you're making ridiculous claims that are indefensible. But I don't even know if this is one of those cases or not. We will analyze this together. But this is the take I like. But let's continue.
Find footage of the video in Dan Johnson's report, Distressing.
This video challenges Israel's account of why its soldiers open fire with such deadly force. It's just before dawn, and the Red Crescent paramedics and civil defense workers are answering a call to help the wounded near Rafah. Israel's military first said this convoy advanced suspiciously towards troops with the lights switched off. But you can see, these are marked vehicles, and they're wearing reflective uniforms. Then, without warning, this. The shooting continues for more than 5 minutes. The paramedic who's filming says his last prayers. Refat Redwan was one of 15 killed.
His phone was found with his body, and he recorded the whole event. His last words before being shot: "Forgive me, Mom. I just wanted to help people. I wanted to save lives."
The footage only emerged when teams could safely reach this site 7 days later. The bodies were buried along with the vehicles. Regular practice, the army says, to protect them from animals. The UN called this a mass grave.
So yeah, they said they buried all of them to protect them from animals, but So the accusation is no, you buried them to hide the evidence that you did this. They say no, we buried them to protect them from animals, right? So I don't know which one it is. However, there might be a fair criticism. Then why didn't you like take pictures and everything and collect the evidence and before burying them? Like, why didn't you take out their positions and take pictures of them and then release them to their families or whatever that you need to do? You just dug a hole and just dumped everything there. Seem like a lot of people like it seems more like hiding the evidence than anything else, but we'll see.
Israel's account was already in question. The only paramedic to live through the shooting told us earlier this week they had their lights on and it was clear they were medics.
I am the only survivor who saw what happened to my colleagues, and I will expose the crimes committed by the occupation against them.
On Tuesday, Israel's response was in defense of its forces.
The IDF did not randomly attack an ambulance. Last Sunday, several uncoordinated vehicles were identified advancing suspiciously toward IDF troops without headlights.
Now,
you say without headlights, okay? So here's the thing. If he's saying without, the thing is that the soldiers who were shooting, if you don't have your headlights, you're supposed to have your headlights on so that you could signal to soldiers, the IDF soldiers, to not shoot at us, right? So they shot at these ambulances. Let's say, for example, you're right. There are Hamas in here, were in the ambulances, and this was a legitimate firing at the ambulances because they had information that there's Hamas fighters in there or something like that. Okay, then why lie? Because why lie about not having their headlights on? You know, because I mean, how could this is not something that you could make it? This doesn't seem like a mistake. Like if the headlights are on while you're shooting, you could tell like, okay, they're freaking on. So if it's on and you see it's on, I will read Per's comment started. If you like remove it, I will read it once I'm done talking. If you see that it's on, and then thank you, Gene, by the way. And you say that it's not on, that seems like more of a lie than an actual mistake. Are you with me, guys? And again, this is being said at the highest levels. However, I'm not saying that he's lying. Okay, the fact that he's saying this. Okay, this is the
vehicles were the IDF did not randomly.
Okay, this is the foreign minister, the in Israel foreign affairs minister. Okay, so the fact that he's saying it, I hope he's not lying. If this is a lie, because I don't want to believe that the lie that he's lying on purpose. I hope within the chain of command, if this is a lie, somebody much lower lied to a higher ups, and then the higher ups believe it, and he's saying it, believing that this is true. Because if he knows that this is a lie and he's lying, then there's going to be more evidence. This is more for the anti-Israeli people who want to claim that these crimes are systemic. These are not just some bad apples. So I'm hoping that if he's saying this, somebody in the lower in the chain of command lied to him, and then he's repeating someone else's lie rather than him lying himself. And again, it's hard. It makes it less when you're saying like they must have had a good excuse. There must have been Hamas in there that they shot at the ambulances. When somebody lied about the headlights, it takes the credibility away for us to trust that, if they're shooting at the ambulances, when they say Hamas was there, we have to believe them that Hamas was in there, in those ambulances. I mean, when you see that they lied about the headlights, then the credibility of their claim that Hamas was in these ambulances will be questioned. Because if you lied about this, you might be lying about that as well. Does that make sense?
And I will expose the crimes committed by the occupation against them.
On Tuesday, Israel's response was in defense of its forces.
The IDF did not randomly attack an ambulance. Last Sunday, several uncoordinated vehicles were identified advancing suspiciously toward IDF troops without headlights.
Now, that narrative's been upended. Tonight, a military official admitted the soldiers were mistaken about the
Mistaken or lied?
lights and the threat they were under. Official admitted the soldiers were mistaken about the lights and the threat they were under. The army insists 6 of the dead.
So here's a good thing. The Israel army admits mistakes, okay? We don't see this from the other side, the enemy side, right? So they're admitting mistakes, and they're saying that they're admitting mistakes not just regarding the lights, regarding the threat as well. So if they think they made mistakes regarding the threats, that means they were shooting at something that was not a threat. They were shooting at something that was not a threat. That's what. So basically, there's it seems like they're admitting that they were shooting at non-Hamas operate like soldiers, right? And the problem is that, I mean, that's good that they're admitting this, and it's good that they're now going to have an investigation. That's more than we will ever get from the other side, right? However, the problem is that would we have all of this if somebody didn't find this phone recording? Also, another criticism of Israel is that there doesn't seem to be ever, like, there will be investigations, but the investigations are never by, I mean, independent parties. I mean, to be fair to Israel, independent international parties are usually anti-Israel, so I can see why they don't want that. But then at the same time, when Israel does its own investigations, one fair criticism of Israel is that there's never, like, not never, but there's little accountability ever on their record. Like, to say, like, oh yeah, these soldiers did something evil, and now we're going to punish them. We don't have a lot of examples to show punishment of soldiers that, even if it's not systemic, it's not the policy of Israel. Obviously, it's not the policy of Israel to just go shoot random ambulances. Like, it's not. That's a policy, more like a policy of Hamas. However, so it's fair to defend Israel like that. Like, that's not what Israel does. They don't go on purpose kill innocent people. Israel doesn't do that. But a fair criticism is when some soldiers do a mistake or do something evil, there is not much punishment for those soldiers. And then if somebody wants to defend Israel, they could be like, well, if there was punishment, there would be a lot less motivation for people to come and join the IDF. I mean, to participate willingly in the IDF and fight this enemy. And yes, this is bad, and these people should be punished. But given that we should be winning this war, it's okay for us not to punish these people as severely as maybe they deserve it. But then somebody from the other side could respond to, then you're going to lose the international. Your image internationally are going to get damaged if you don't hold accountable soldiers. I mean, you do need your international image. Israel needs to win the media war. So if you say, like, yes, we should be punishing the Israeli soldiers, but the consequences are that we're going to have lack of motivation for people to participate in IDF. But then, okay, then you're going to get lack of motivation for people around the world to defend Israel as well. So it's complicated. I will read your comments, Per. Like, I know you clarified. And let me star Jack's comment as well. By the way, Gene, I forgot to thank Gene. Gene is the one who's highlighting the comments and starring them. Love you, Gene, for doing this. Thank you so much for being here.
It belonged to Hamas, but it denies they were executed at close range. The changing story, though, is only increasing the pressure for an independent investigation. This footage lay buried for a week in the Gaza sand. Now it is forcing Israel to give answers and adding to the calls for accountability. Dan John.
All right, so let's watch the full 6 minutes version of the video, okay? But before I do that, let me read some of your comments that has been starred, especially the ones by Per, and then the rest of you guys, and then we will watch the full 6 minutes. Per saying, Armin, what I meant is this: to be able to operate in Gaza, you need to cooperate with Hamas. It's impossible to make a clear military-civilian distinction in any situation except surrender. Okay, so if you're saying that even if you're not a Hamas fighter, to be able to move around in Gaza and do this, emergency stuff, you need to communicate with Hamas. Okay, yeah, but that doesn't make you Hamas, right? Because by that metric, like, let's say, like, I'm a mother that I'm just trying to go get some food for my kid, and I hate Hamas, but to be able to go into the bureaucracy of getting some food, I need to communicate with Hamas. that doesn't make me Hamas, right? Just because I'm communicating with Hamas, right? But like earlier you said it in a different way. So you said emergency workers, so jihadists. I mean, not necessarily, but and then you said, but emergency workers are always Hamas. Okay, so having to communicate with Hamas and being Hamas itself are two different things. But I appreciate the clarification, though. I think the way you clarified made it more nuanced. Let me see. Jean is saying, my partner who was an IDF officer said this looks like a colossal fuck up that should send someone to jail. Yeah, I mean, it would be great if we had more examples of Israel. Here, guys, here's what I know. There's no benefit. Like, I know Israel doesn't just go pick civilian infrastructure or ambulances or emergency workers and shoot them. I know that, first of all, for two reasons. Because there's no benefit for IDF to do that. They get nothing out of this. Like, show me a single benefit to the Israeli government or IDF for just shooting emergency workers who are not Hamas. There's a lot of cost, even if they're not moral. There's just no benefit to it, and there's a lot of costs associated with it. That's one reason why I know they don't do it. And another reason is because there would be much more ambulances being shot at. Like, this is an example of an ambulance being shot at, but there are way more ambulances in Gaza that are operating that are never shot at. I mean, if this was a policy by Israel, then there would be a lot more examples of this happening. So in defense of Israel, we know that this is not their policy. But when it comes to defending Israel, you shouldn't be excusing this. You should be like, what the fuck? Even though we defend Israel and like, yeah, Hamas on purpose attacks civilians, but Israel doesn't. That's great. We defend Israel because of that. But what the fuck happened with these specific soldiers? Not the entirety of Israel, not the entirety of IDF, but these specific soldiers. How come there was only an investigation when we found this phone? Okay. And will there ever be accountability for anyone? Like, there seems to be very examples of people going to jail for shit like this, right? So that's a fair criticism. That's a fair defense and also a fair criticism. And then let me see, Sketch Therapy saying, yes, if they were legitimate targets, they wouldn't hide it. Hiding it sounds like someone covering their butt. Exactly. This seems like a mistake that made everything worse with the cover-up. Like, yeah, I mean, I would like IDF, when something like this happens, instead of covering it up, they would like just come before somebody else exposing them, to come and, releasing this themselves transparently. Or like, okay, something fucked up happened here and we're going to investigate. Again, if somebody wants to defend the IDF, they would be like, yeah, but if they did that, then, there's already, less people would fight for Israel. I mean, like, okay. Like, that doesn't seem like a good defense, because with that excuse you could excuse everything in that way. Flying Robot Duck is saying the anti-Israeli crowd cries war crime and genocide so many times it makes it hard to believe when Israel is in the wrong. That isn't just anti-Israel propaganda. That is a fucking great point. I love that you said that, Flying Robot Duck, because I know, because the anti-Israeli people are just like genocide this, genocide that, war crime this, war crime that. So of course, even if you have the best, most moral army in the whole world, it is impossible for you to avoid war crimes by some of your soldiers. No country will be able to have an army with a fucking complete clean record. And again, you're so right, because the people who point at everything the IDF does and call it a war crime, they make it more difficult to find the actual war crimes. That is a good point. That is a very good point. Sketch is saying maybe these soldiers panicked, then tried to hide it. Maybe, yes. We don't know, because the investigation is only going to be done by IDF, and we cannot verify even if the investigation is done, because we could see there's acts of cover-up. So we would like to trust the IDF's investigations. We trust them more than many other people, but then it seems like we cannot trust it 100%. So we will never know, it seems, unless, if it was an IDF order, they would straight up say there was a great target among them. I think the soldiers lied to the IDF commander, but yeah, I hope that the within the chain of command, the lie came from lower levels. Like, I hope like the lie wasn't from the higher levels. The lie came from the soldiers that did this specific thing, because that would be a lot more defendable. Because like, okay, these were just some bad soldiers who lied. And somebody else saying the opinion in Israel is pretty clear that the officer at the field lied to the reports. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Well, will there be significant punishments then? Sketch is saying these soldiers are probably scared. They panicked. Oh yeah, I already read that. Oh wait, no. Covered up, and lied to the chain of command. In the army, we would get a court-martial for lying to the chain of command. Yes, in what army? The U.S. Army. What about in Israel Army? Because I don't see a lot of examples of soldiers being punished in Israel. Somebody, I can't read your name. I'm going to call you with your last name, Shiloh. Shiloh saying they thought they were Hamas. That is agreed, but thinking that someone is Hamas and opening fire is not legal. If investigation finds out they did not think they were Hamas. Okay, so guys, in Israel, will there be punishments for this? And let me read this comment, and then we will play the full video, because it's important for us to see the entirety of this. Jack is saying, even if Israel investigates potential war crimes, anti-Israel people just take it to hate on Israel, regardless of how good the intentions are. So maybe they think that there is more to lose than gain. Yeah, but this is not for the sake of anti-Israel people. Like, yeah, if our goal was to satisfy anti-Israeli people, then they will never be satisfied. Like, that should not be the point of these investigations. I can see why some people would say that. Some people are like, oh, forget the investigations, they're going to hate us anyway. But that's not for the point of them. This is for the point of more sane people. This is for the sake of not losing people who are not completely fucking anti-Semitic or anti-Israel just through and through, and nothing could convince them. It's not for their sake. It's for the sake of more sane people, right? And also it's for the sake of having a country that has higher standards, because that's how a country progresses. So it's not for them. Fuck them. We don't care about them, those anti-Israel people. But let's watch this whole video all the way through, because it's important to see the whole thing. Okay, guys, are there anybody in the chat that speaks Arabic? Because I understand, I speak Persian, not Arabic, but I can understand some parts of it, but some parts I might not understand. So this is one of the people, the person who's this is one of the ambulance drivers himself. Yeah, that's a good question. Hammer is saying, why is he recording a road at night? Is this standard practice? That's a very good question. I don't know if maybe he heard that there's something in the front, that there's a blocking or something. They saw something, and they were maybe he was afraid, so that's why he started recording, because he heard that like he saw something ahead that is coming, that is about to happen. I'm not sure. If anyone has the answer, let us know.
Hey, Marmin.
Some people are saying the dash cameras are common, but I thought this was a phone that they found in his pocket or something. Like, I don't know. That's a good question.
Hey, Marmin.
Oh, okay. So maybe they were going to save some people who were attacked or something, and when they were getting close to it, then they started he started recording when they were about to get close to it. Maybe that's what happened. So here he's saying Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah wa Muhammad Rasulullah. Okay, so it's the Shahadatain, and he's saying that because he's expecting the likelihood of dying to be high, and it is like it's a when you are dying, when you're about to die, you're supposed to say the Shahadatain. Okay, it's so Ashhadu. So basically, I testify that there's only one God, there's no God but Allah, and I testify that Muhammad is Allah's prophet. So when he's saying that is because it seems like he's expecting to die. That's why he's saying.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله الله أكبر.
Well, I think he's also keep repeating it because he's afraid, and he's trying to, like, he just says that, like, he's just saying, repeating, like, it maybe give him comfort that, like, I'm saying this, so I'm hoping, like, if I die, I'm just going to enter heaven. So just soothing his own mind. So Jack is saying, who is shooting? IDF. IDF is shooting. So they got out of their ambulances and they were going to that place that they were supposed to help. And as soon as they got out of their ambulances, the IDF started shooting at them. Jack is saying, how do, like, the IDF has confirmed, like, how do we know? But the IDF has confirmed this, that they were shooting at them. Well, just listen, let me be clear. I don't want to, not the entirety, like, not the IDF as a whole, like the specific soldiers within the IDF.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
No, but people saying, guys, like, per saying Allahu Akbar, that's not something you say generally unless you're jihad. No. Guys, we are used to, Allahu Akbar is a lot more common thing to say than people just being a jihadist, right? So, like, sometimes Allahu Akbar means, oh my God. Sometimes Allahu Akbar means, what the fuck, right? So people like you might not even be a very religious Muslim, and if you see something really like, oh my, like, if you want to say, oh my God, a lot of Muslims would just say Allahu Akbar, right? So Allahu Akbar is not just a jihadist, like, it's just basically, it's almost like if an English speaking person says, oh my God, and you say, like, oh, you said God, you must be a very religious Christian person. Like, no, oh my God is just like, it's the thing people say. So Allahu Akbar is very, very common. And also in Gaza, people are very religious. Many people might be very religious. I don't know how religious this person is, but also being very, very religious and being a jihadist are two different things. Yeah, anti-Islam, I'm saying, it's like saying Jesus Christ. Yes, it's like that's exactly what it sounds like to us. To us ex-Muslims, sometimes, and so, for example, a lot of us ex-Shias, sometimes we say Yo Ali, right? Sometimes when you're taking a giant shit, you might say Yo Ali, even though you're, like, not a Muslim anymore. It's like it's the one reason a lot of people were surprised by this is because the shooting continued for 5 minutes straight.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
So he like, but by the way, he's taking cover for the shooting to stop and for him to survive, but apparently he died as well. Like they were looking, they were shooting until they all died. So this man that you're hearing, he died as well, and his body was among the mass grave.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
So for a while,
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. سامحونا 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 سامحونا. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. يا رب تقبلنا يا رب، يا رب إنا أتوب إليك وأستغفرك يا رب، يا رب إنا أتوب إليك وأستغفرك يا رب. سامحونا يا شباب، يا رب يا رب إنا أتوب إليك يا رب.
So right now he's saying your rap, so he's talking to God, but there's a point in here, if you speak Arabic, let me know where it is, that he start talking to his mom. And he says, Mom, forgive me. I was just doing this to help people.
يا رب تقبلني شهيدا يا الله وتب علي. يا رب تقبلني وتب علي. يما سامحيني يما، هذه هي الطريقة اللي اخترتها يما، إني أساعد الناس. سامحيني يما، يما سامحيني، والله ما قبلت هذا الطريق إلا لأساعد الناس. يا رب تب علي، يا رب إن كتبتني من الشهداء تقبلني.
Yeah, guys, I'm not saying that this was a legitimate target or not. Okay, maybe the investigation shows that there was some of these were Hamas or all of them were Hamas. Okay, the point is that there's obviously a lie here. There is a lie, and also an active attempt at a cover-up. So even if they come out and tell us that yes, no, actually there was Hamas fighters among these people, so this was a legitimate target. The fact that they lied about the headlights, and also the fact that they seem to have tried to cover it up, just makes it harder. Like even if there was Hamas fighters in here, but when they come and tell us that there was Hamas fighters in here, then we don't, like, it's hard to verify. Like, okay, well, how do we know that you're telling us the truth? Even if you're telling us the truth, because there was lying about the headlights and there was also a cover-up. So Sheila's saying they didn't really seem to plan on a cover-up. They did nothing to actually hide what happened. They took everybody there and dug a mass grave and buried them, and this whole thing was case closed until they found this recording a week after. And none of this investigation would have happened if they didn't find this recording. So nobody was going to come and step up and say, like, oh no, actually there was no threat. And like now they're admitting that there was no threat from them, and also the headlights were actually on. So nobody, like, this is something that the soldiers saw, that the headlights were on and this was not a threat. And nobody would have come and voluntarily have said that unless this video was found. So this should make you skeptical of the narrative that they're giving you.
قاطع صلاتك تقبلني يا رب، يا رب الناس، يا رب تقبلني يا رب، يا رب لا حول ولا قوة. استغفر الله واتوب اليك. اجعلنا من الذين في السماء بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الارض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الارض وهو السميع العليم. يا الله السيارة خزقت السيارة. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الارض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الارض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. خزقت السيارة. الله اكبر، الله اكبر كبيرا. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله لبيك اللهم لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر كبيرا الله أكبر كبيرا لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر كبيرا لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر أجل هود أجل هود.
All right, so let me then go to the IDF and see what they said. So Shiloh's, yeah, okay. I am pro-Israel all day, but what is going on here? Yeah, I'm pro-Israel all day as well. I mean, and the best way to be pro-Israel is to make sure that if there seems to be some legitimate criticism, we don't like try to hide it under the rug, right? Even if it ends up later coming out and realize, no, like, this was complete. I mean, we cannot expect a perfect record from the IDF. Sheila is saying the punishments are very light and often reduced later. That is not even rare in other armies. I don't understand the second part. Yes, but yes, this is a criticism of Israel that sometimes when Israel itself investigates and realizes that their soldiers did something like really, really wrong, and their own investigation shows that the punishments are very, very light, right? So there's like, then the problem with that is that some IDF soldiers, even if it's not the policy of Israel and the IDF to go out and do war crimes, obviously it's not their policy, but when the soldiers see that there's very little consequences to them doing such things, that might encourage them to just like not be very careful, right? Sheila's saying that isn't an IDF issue. Non-intentional harm in war is rarely punished in the same harshness as peacetime. Okay, yes, but my point of comparison, Sheila, is not with peacetime. My point of comparison, I think the point of comparison should be with other armies, right? So, for example, our standard should be relative to, for example, an American soldier, how much punishment they would get. It's fair. I think it's fair for the punishment to be less relative to a peacetime situation with the non-soldier or something like that, right? That is it's fair for it to be less because it's a much different situation. But I think the point of comparison, so Sheila is saying the IDF is a tiny bit harsher compared to other armies. Okay, I have to investigate that. But that's a good point. So here's another good point in defense of Israel that I start. Say they did give the info of where the bodies are, and I looked at that to verify that you're telling what you're saying is true or not. And you are right. Okay, so that goes against the claim of a cover-up and more in defense of Israel, because Israel is saying, no, we buried them to protect the bodies from animals. And some people are like, no, that looks more like a cover-up. And then somebody like, well, it's a cover-up. Then why did the IDF tell people where the bodies were buried so they could go dig them up, right? So that is one point, like that seemed like not a cover-up, at least in that point, right? So again, if there's any mistakes here, that would be in favor of us saying that maybe the mistakes were from those soldiers at the field at that time, at that place, and not the higher ups in the chain of command. Okay, but let's listen to what this IDF. Who's this guy? Let me see.
Alistair Bunkle from Sky News.
At first, he's going to talk about something else, and then he's going to get to that point. I don't know
your
when.
question here. The IDF initially claimed that 8 of the 15 medics were killed were Hamas. This is now being revised down to 6. Given that the initial reports about the ambulances not using their emergency lights have now been exposed as false, and the lack of any evidence provided so far to prove some of the medics were Hamas, why should we conclude that they're anything but innocent medical and aid workers? And you've also asked what steps have been taken by the IDF whilst the internal investigation proceeds. Have soldiers been been withdrawn from duties in Gaza? Thank you for that question, Alistair. Alistair, there's an issue which I almost never see reported in international media, and that is the fact that it is a matter of public record that Hamas have on many occasions, many documented occasions, used ambulances as a cover.
Okay, yes. Many that we know that. But that doesn't mean that this is one of those. But the Israel itself doesn't claim that every single ambulance is Hamas. Israel claims that Hamas uses ambulances as cover, which is true, but just because that's true in many cases, it doesn't make it true for all cases. So the question is this one of them?
What sort of cover? To transport terrorists, to escape from Israel's forces, abusing the very notion of emergency services. Just like the boy that cried wolf in Aesop's fables, Hamas have been abused.
I don't like this answer because he's putting the burden of the proof on the other side. He's like, some people are saying, how do we know that these people were not just emergency workers? And he says, like, well, Hamas uses ambulances as a cover. It's almost as if he's saying, you should prove to us that they're not Hamas. I mean, if you did the shooting, you should prove that they're Hamas. You cannot just shoot and they're like, well, prove to us that this wasn't Hamas. The burden of proof is on the person who's doing the shooting, which is basically making the claim that this is Hamas. Like, oh, let's shoot at ambulances, and then you have to prove that it wasn't Hamas. Like, that doesn't make sense as a response.
Use wolf in Aesop's fables. Hamas have been abusing emergency services, and that is the real essence of this issue.
The actual response should be like, these were Hamas, and we have evidence for it, and we will soon show you the evidence. That should be the response, not like, oh, well, you cannot tell us that it wasn't Hamas.
But on the reports about the attack on aid workers in Rafah, whilst on a stakeout against terrorist activity, IDF soldiers opened fire from a distance at.
Is you know what it sounds like? It almost sounds like a woman, like somebody calling a man a rapist, and be like, we're like, hey, how do you know this man is a rapist? They're like, don't you know that most rapists are men? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, he's a man. I'm like, what? Like, okay, just because most rapists are men, that doesn't mean that you could just accuse this man of being a rapist.
On aid workers in Rafah, whilst on a stakeout against terrorist activity, IDF soldiers opened fire from a distance at vehicles that were moving suspiciously in their direction. Among the dead were 6 Hamas terrorists. What were Hamas terrorists doing in ambulances? The incident was reported in real time to UN officials. The IDF is conducting an investigation, as you know, into the circumstances of the incident that took place 2 weeks ago. The Hamas terror organization systematically violates international law.
Yeah,
by taking over.
Yeah, this is what, like somebody in the chat mentioned, this is what aboutism. And like, hey guys, did you shoot at jihadists or civilians? I'm like, well, Hamas are monsters. Like, yeah, we know. I mean, being better than Hamas is not a very high standard. Like, but it's not fair to, like, if we are criticizing an army's, like, sometimes, like, we're trying to have high standards for an army and try to see if there are mistakes sometimes. It's really unfair. Like, it's not a very good defense of yourself to be like, we are basically better than the worst humans on earth. Like, that is not a very high that's not a very high bar, right? Like, hey, Armin, it seems like you lied to this person there, and that was unethical. Well, at least I'm not a fucking Nazi. Like, what? Okay, like, sure, like, do you want to brag about like being better than Nazis? Like, being better than Hamas doesn't seem like it's a weird flex. Like, it doesn't take much to be better than Hamas.
Systematically violates international law by taking over civilian facilities and infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and mosques, while cruelly exploiting and placing the civilian population in Gaza at risk by using it as a human shield for its actions. So with this ongoing investigation, I'll leave that answer at that.
Okay, so ongoing investigations. I hope we have, with the investigation, I hope we get actual evidence that there were Hamas in here, or instead of this putting this under a rug and completely ignoring it. One, and also if you find that this was a mistake, is there going to be accountability? That's the question.
The results of the investigation should be released shortly.
Well, let me actually do some investigation regarding accountability when it comes to Israel's army. Hold on, let me actually remove the audio here. Punish more relative to. Okay, so let me respond to your comments because you guys had some points here. Oh, Darko, just feel like blaming the victims. It seems like whataboutism mostly. But let me see. Sam is saying, as a soldier who was in Gaza, when you fight Hamas on the roads, you usually fight against ambulances and UN vehicles. The argument is that that mistakes are very likely. Yes, we can expect, like, we would not blame the IDF for making mistakes, the entirety of IDF, because it's this is the proper way of defending the IDF. Anybody who expects no mistakes from IDF it's delusional. Of course mistakes will happen. The point is not that you shouldn't have been making any mistakes. The point is, like, when mistakes happens, how do you treat those mistakes after? Are you going to be transparent about it? Is it going to be accountability relative not to peace times, relative to other armies in the world? Are you going to try to cover it up? Are you going to be lying about it? Or, like, that's the ask. The ask is not zero mistakes, right? And also, let me see. Shiloh is saying, Armin, the shooting is not an issue. It happens in war zones. Yes, I accept that. That they lied in reports, okay, caused the entire IDF harm and did it badly. Perfectly said. The shooting is not the shooting is expected. Like, I mean, the shooting is a tragedy if these people were not Hamas. However, it's a war zone. We cannot expect shit like this not to happen. I accept that. But you're completely right to identify what the problem is. The problem is the second part. The fact that some soldiers, at least some soldiers, not the entirety of the IDF, seem to have been lying in their reports about what happened, right? Let me see how much the IDF, when it comes to accountability, there are some examples, but not a lot regarding accountability, apparently. Examples where Israeli soldiers were punished. Okay, so I have 4 examples. Man sentenced to so somebody who was convinced in manslaughter got 18 months, but served 9 months. There was another, I cannot. Elor Azaria in 2016 shot a Palestinian attacker in the head. He got sentenced to 18 months, but served only 9 months. In 2004, Gaza killing, a soldier shot a 13-year-old girl. He got acquitted of all charges, though it led to major public controversy. Beating of Palestinian detainees. Some soldiers received disciplinary actions, demotions, or brief prison sentences. And then 2022 to 2033 West Bank incidents, a few soldiers were punished for violent or humiliating behavior caught on video. Usually this short detention or administrative punishment. So it seemed like the biggest one we got was that 9 months one example. Okay, but many cases go unpunished, especially during full-scale conflict. And there we have examples of that. But let me see. So you guys saying, like, okay, relative to peace times, you should expect the punishments to be less. But let me just see, relative to the US, for example, both countries rarely punish war crimes. Okay, so I mean, in defense of Israel, we might say, like, yeah, the punishments are basically the same as other military. The US military tends to carry out more visible and formal prosecutions. Israel is seen as doing less, especially in Gaza-related incidents, where it often dismisses or downplays accusations. Okay, what about relative to other advanced countries? All right, let me see. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I mean, whatever the answer is, I like here. I'm not seeing a lot of backlash from you guys for us looking into this without like 100% trying to defend everything that comes from the IDF. Like I expected some of you guys to get angry, but everybody seems to be chill about it. So I'm grateful that we have an audience like that. Compared to other advanced countries, Israel is among the least likely to punish its soldiers for for battlefield misconduct, especially in politically charged conflicts like those with Palestinians. Other countries tend to use more independent investigations, face stronger public backlash, have less tolerance for civilian death. Okay, so there seems. Oh wait, I have another video I need to show with you guys to as a defense for Israel. Let me actually, relative to advanced countries, Israel seems to be underperforming, but relative to, honestly, relative to like Islamic countries, Israel is amazing, right? But relative to advanced countries, Israel seems to be underperforming when it comes to accountability. Let me actually defend Israel's society. I mean, this is not the Israeli government, but the Israeli society. There's an organization called, what is it called? There's a charity, there's a non-profit company, Breaking the Silence, right? Is that what it's called? Breaking the Silence Israel, that encourages and this is yes, Breaking the Silence is an is an organization of veteran soldiers who have served in the Israeli military since the yeah. So these are people who come out and expose war crimes within by the IDF. And again, this is a defense of Israel. I would like to say that this is a defense of Israel because it comes from the Israeli society itself. Right, so this is their website, and they have soldiers' testimony, and the people, like if there's any wrongdoing by the IDF. And this is the difference between a liberal country and a non-liberal country. Even if the government sometimes have some shortcomings, the society itself is free enough to be able to hold this government accountable, and this is their website, right? So just remember, when we're talking about Israel, it's not just the government, it's the entire society as well. And this kind of a reaction is what you expect from liberal free societies, right? Jeffrey saying I put most of the blame on Hamas. Yeah, obviously, always. I mean, the fact that we even have a war that is because of Hamas. The blame first, second, third, all the way to number 100. The blame is on Hamas, obviously, okay? But just because if the vast majority of the blame is on Hamas, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be self-critical, right? I mean, that's why we are better than them, because we are self-critical, because we progress, we become better. We don't have to just celebrate the fact that we are better than them, because we have to actually improve. We have to compare ourselves to ourselves a year ago instead of comparing ourselves to them, because if we compare ourselves to them, then there's no need for improvement because we look amazing. If we compare ourselves to Hamas, we always will look amazing, so there's no need for improvement. Break the Silence is not an anti-Zionist organization. It's like just a self-critical liberal. I mean, it's an organization that loves Israel, I think, and wants Israel to do better. But let's actually do one in defense of Israel as well. So, like when it comes to ambulances, because I haven't actually looked at this video, so I don't know if this is. Maybe I should look at it first. Maybe I don't want to I want to make sure it has everything in here is YouTube friendly. Yes, it is YouTube friendly. Okay, fine. So let's look at this and see, because when I was looking at this, people wanted to show that like ambulances are used. So the caption says on Eid al-Fitr, we say, a Gazan family injured in an Israeli attack expressed anger at Hamas as they exited an ambulance. They revealed that Hamas operatives had been hiding nearby, leading to the strike that endangered them. The child's anger in the moment is particularly notable. So these kids, these are Gazan kids, and they're pissed off that their ambulance was being used by Hamas, and they were like, we were being shot at because Hamas was using us as cover. Let's actually look at this. See, again, I'm not guys, can somebody verify the translation in the chat, because I haven't actually looked into this. Like, what? Let me actually read the translation. Why are you filming? Here, film. Film or death. People feel us. Let him film. Let him come. Film. Talk. These are holiday clothes? What? Hamas. Allah curse you evildoers. So he's cursing Hamas. These are holiday clothes. I don't know why he's saying that. May Allah avenge you. Film, come, look. This is holiday. They Hamas come to hide among the people. Here, take a look. This is the holiday. What does that mean? This is the holiday. Are they talking about? Oh, this is Eid. They were basically celebrating Eid. Is that why? Oh yeah, because it was Eid, the end of Ramadan. Okay, Allah saved us. Allah saved us. Come to. Praise Allah. So watch this again. I'm not going to pause it anymore because I think I ruined the video by pausing it so much. But watch it again, because look at the kids' anger because they were being used by Hamas.
بيجوا تخافوا بين الناس. روح هاي العيد الله سترنا الله سترنا تعال احكي احكي.
Okay. People are giving me context about what's happening here. Purple Pulp is saying family compound. Okay, their family compound was blasted because Hamas were in it, and he's angry that they used it. Okay, now I get the context. Thank you so much. Thank you. And he was cursing Hamas because of it. Okay, yeah. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to show this also to make sure that you guys understand that I know Hamas has used the civilians as cover. Like I know that. Okay. And I hope, like, if we ever criticize some IDF soldiers or some operations, I hope you don't think that it's because we're, it's not because we don't support Israel. Like, I just think that it's also makes us strong. It's also, if you have a record of criticizing Israel sometimes, then when you're defending Israel, you're going to have the upper hand, because people, it's harder to dismiss you as a dogmatic, tribalistic zealot that just defends everything. It's just good to have that. It's good to have that on your record. So when you defend Israel, you just come from a much stronger position, because yeah. So, but damn, yeah, Darko saying damn, yeah, that was heartbreaking. And I hope, like, a lot of people here, as much as like that kid, for example, there, right? I hope you feel for him. Like, yeah, that's an Arab Palestinian kid that lives in Gaza, and if he dies in battle because of Hamas, we're going to blame Hamas, not the IDF. But I hope, like, people on this channel who are pro-Israel also have sympathy for this boy. Like, this boy deserves a normal fucking life, right? He doesn't deserve to live in this much fucking stress. He doesn't deserve that. Like, I hope, like, we're pro-Israel, and pro-Israel doesn't mean that we become like the monsters on the other side, that we don't feel sympathy for a kid like that, right? Yeah, that's nuance. What nuance? Did I miss a nuance by Muhammad? Let me see. Muhammad was saying, thanks, mate. I genuinely hate Hamas and their cowardice and hiding behind civilians. That's casual issue, but feel for those innocent medics. Yes. Yeah, we could feel for the people. I mean, we could feel. Yeah, guys. Like I know this is like so cliche and repetitive to say, and so many people have said it so many times, but it just makes sense to say it again. Okay. And I know this quote by Nietzsche has been said many times, okay, and maybe you're tired of hearing it, but I'm gonna say it again because it's just so important. Okay, when you're fighting monsters, it's very important not to become a monster, not to turn into a monster. It's very important because the whole point of fighting Hamas is to separate the world from them. But while fighting them, if some of them seeps into you, then they live through you. You might have killed them, but then they manage to inject some of themselves into you and then live through you. So be careful. The whole point of fighting them is to rid the world of them, not to become more like them. So be careful with that. All right, guys. Oh, by the way, guys, I forgot to mention, this is important. Don't go. We are going to have a member only stream right after this, and it's so if you're a member, I'm gonna send you the link to. Wait, hold on. Where is this? I should have been more prepared. Oh, here. Okay, so the member only show is going to be right after this. I'm going to go to another stream, and the stream is, this is the link. The link is also in the description. It's called Iran's Islamists Turn on the Regime. Guys, I have some new videos on this that you would love to see. If you remember, come watch it. I have some amazing new videos of the Iranian Islamists becoming anti-regime. It's getting, because of the negotiations that is happening between the Iranian regime and the U.S. administration, the Trump administration, the divide between the Islamists and the regime is escalating to the point that they are now saying, I have videos of people, of Islamists in Iran, actively saying that they're against the Islamic Republic because they're negotiating with Trump, with the killer of Qasem Soleimani. So I'm going to show you those videos. If you are a member, come watch that. Let me actually show you on screen what that looks like. Wait, here. Right now, as soon as I end this, I'm going to go start that one. Here. Just put this back up. Here. So you can see right now we're on this stream. Wait, my voice. Right now we're on this stream that says live. This one here on the left, that Iran's Islamists turn on the regime. If you go to the live section, you're going to see that we're going to be starting that one right now. Okay, so on our YouTube channel, on the live section, and the link is also in the live chat and also in the description. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream and I'm going to start that one right now. Okay, so come hop over there. If you remember, and again, this is a way to appreciate our members of this channel. And guys, our membership is actually quite cheap, you know, so it's like very low monthly payments. And I as you can see, I'm doing a lot more member only streams. So there was one here, there was one here, there was one here. So we're having a lot more member only streams. Okay, so consider supporting us by becoming a member. And don't forget to like this one. And again, thank you, Gene, for being here. And Gene, are you coming to the member only stream? I'm gonna try to do that one fast so I don't hold you up for luck. Okay, so see you on the other side, and love you guys, and bye. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Okay.